But this was the first time we saw Paige really get guarded. This is where we saw what is going to happen in year 2. This is the scout report that needs to be out there on Paige Bueckers once the Dallas Wings get good, because Dallas Wings are going to get good at some stage in her career. This was the game where I'm like, okay, we can shut up the comparisons right now.
The curtain's been pulled back. The hype is gone. The WNBA's effort to push a new superstar fell apart right on national TV. Paige Bueckers, who was being labeled the next Caitlin Clark, the face of the future, the one the media tried to crown, just got a hard dose of reality delivered by the Seattle Storm. And it wasn't just a reminder, it was a complete breakdown.
Of one Paige Bueckers, oh, she's better than Caitlin Clark. I mean, stab me in the eye with a spoon, for Christ's sakes. Wow. So that's a thing right now. Last night, Paige Bueckers dropped 44 points. And we're going to look at a video that just dissects and exposes a lot of that shit. Let me tell you. It exposes a lot of stuff involving Paige Bueckers getting special treatment on the...
For months, we've been told that Paige Bueckers was ready to step into Caitlin Clark's spot at the top. The storylines painted her as the savior of women's basketball, breaking Clark's records like they were nothing.
Dump Divas Kat Engelbert is breathing a sigh of relief. Her pretend friends in the mainstream media, they are trying to crown a new star. If the media has it their way, this could potentially be the new face of pretend basketball. And it's not just the woke media. There are even some in conservative media who are voluntarily biting into the shit sandwich. Headline at Outkick: "No Caitlin, no problem. Paige Bueckers can save the WNBA season."
She was the quickest to hit 200 points and 50 assists, doing it in just 11 games. One game faster than Clark. Headlines praised her efficiency, maturity, and game IQ. ESPN had her ranked 13th midway through the season. The hype machine was at full throttle, and everyone wanted a seat on the Paige Bueckers ride. But hype doesn't mean much when it runs into reality. And reality had a name: the Seattle Storm's defense.
It's a little bit different, huh? It's a little bit different out here when you get Caitlin Clark treatment. It ain't so easy peasy getting to play one-on-one, getting to just do your thing how you want to do it, when you want to do it. Paige Bueckers got the Caitlin Clark treatment for one game, and it got up.
August 22nd, 2025. Remember that date? It's when the Paige Bueckers story took a serious hit. Coming off her 44-point game against the Los Angeles Sparks, she came into Seattle expecting to keep the spotlight shining on her. Instead, she ran into a defense that stripped away the shine and exposed the weaknesses in her game.
She went off in a game against the Los Angeles Sparks, scoring 44 points, but the craziest part about that was her shooting percentage. She shot over 80% from the field, and I tweeted about that, and I was like, that's actually insane. Give props where they are due. Shooting over 80%, scoring 44 points is actually insane. But with this game, like, Paige Bueckers she put on a masterclass in scoring, and I think with that, these are some big numbers, and those are some props.
11 points. That's all the next Caitlin Clark could score against real pro-level defense. Not in the first quarter, not in the half, the whole game. 2 for 11 shooting. 0 assists. 2 rebounds. Her stat line looked like something from a summer rec league. Before the game, Storm coach Noelle Quinn said, after scoring 44 the other night, it was in a variety of different ways. Translation: let's see if she can handle the same pressure Clark gets every night. Spoiler, she couldn't.
The game, you said it's going to be important to be physical with like Paige Bueckers. Can you talk about the defensive game plan for Dallas and like how your team was able to hold them to their fewest points of the season?
Yeah, it started, with our attention to detail with Paige. I thought, Slim was very physical, stayed in her space, and the actions that we guarded her in, we were very aggressive, showed multiple bodies, and kind of, made her hesitant to use the ball screen a little bit. I thought we rotated well. And everyone who ended up being on Paige from E on down, I thought we were.
If you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to subscribe. Now here's where things get really interesting. While Paige Bueckers was struggling in Seattle, Caitlin Clark, the real superstar, has been fighting through battles all season. Clark isn't just another good player. She's the one who changed women's basketball. And she's been taking hits that look more like football than basketball. Numbers prove it. In the 2024 WNBA season, 17% of all flagrant fouls were committed against Caitlin Clark. That's not playing tough, that's targeting.
Paige Bueckers got Caitlin Clark treatment for the first time in her career, and it looked bad. It looked real bad. Everybody was running around. Yeah, she was cooking 44 points versus the Sparks. They didn't play a lick of defense, letting this girl play one-on-one basketball in every area of the floor, letting her post up in the mid-range area one-on-one. Now, I'm giving credit. She's a bucket in one-on-one, especially from that mid-range, from the free throw line down area. But this is the first time we watch teams actively be persistent about taking away her spots and what she wants to.
The Chicago Sky alone made up 80% of those flagrant fouls against her. Meanwhile, Paige Bueckers has been given a soft path, playing games that looked more like college scrimmages. And when she finally ran into the kind of physical defense Clark faces every night, she collapsed under the pressure. The Storm made it a point to challenge her every step, contest every shot, and wear her down. The result? She faded out of the game completely.
Because she got blitzed. She got doubled. And do you want to know what she did as soon as she got blitzed and doubles? She passed. Paige Bueckers, look, she played decent amount early in the game. The game was kind of over and she got subbed out. Paige Bueckers shot 7 times. Paige shot the ball.
The media loved pointing out Bueckers' shooting efficiency, 47.4% compared to Clark's 41.7% as a rookie. They used it as proof that Bueckers was more polished, more ready. But what they skipped over is that Clark's shots were always the toughest in the league, with defenders swarming her every possession. Bueckers' high numbers came against soft defense and open looks. The moment Seattle treated her like an actual star, her efficiency dropped to 2 for 11. That's not greatness, it's exposure. Meanwhile, Clark's been making shots over defenders trying to knock her down, even while being fouled on plays that didn't even look like basketball. Yet she's still putting up historic stats, the kind Bueckers can't match.
Paige Bueckers, let me ask you this. How did it feel to be blitzed and played 94 feet before you even get a chance to bring the ball up court like your name was Caitlin Clark, a.k.a. my precious Cece? You didn't like that, huh? You hear me? You out there was looking like you was about to cry. Yeah, so what do your fans have to say now? Excuse me, where are you Paige Bueckers fans at? That's y'all MVP and face of the league, right? She's boring. She's not good enough. She gets special treatment. But understand, she kept getting blitz after blitz after blitz.
Let's be clear about August 22nd. Paige Bueckers got just a sample of what Caitlin Clark goes through night after night, and she couldn't handle it. One game of real defensive intensity, one game of being pushed around physically, and suddenly the next Caitlin Clark looked like someone headed for the bench. This is the same player the media hyped as smarter, more skilled, and already ahead of Clark. But when the game got physical, Bueckers showed she isn't built for the same spotlight Clark has carried from day one.
I want to look up how the WNBA played against Caitlin Clark in terms of the defensive strategy, in terms of the other basketball teams around the WNBA, what they did against Caitlin Clark versus how they've handled Paige this year. Everybody wants to act like Paige is so much better than Caitlin. They're certainly not playing defense on Paige the way they played on Caitlin. They're certainly not attacking her with unnecessary fouls the way they attacked Caitlin with unnecessary fouls last year. So in the 2024 season, there were 35 flagrant fouls called. Caitlin Clark received 17% of the entire season's flagrant fouls, 17%. I mean, we've seen all the injuries, we've seen all the fights, the MMA fights that the WNBA players have gotten into this year. There haven't been 35 flagrant.
Let's look at the real numbers. Caitlin Clark's rookie season, 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, 5.7 rebounds, while being the most targeted player in the league. Paige Bueckers, 19.7 points, 5.3 assists for 0.1 rebounds, with the easiest defensive coverage in the WNBA. Clark's opponents were told to be as physical as possible, and she still delivered. Bueckers had the lightest pressure in the league, and when that changed for just one night, she disappeared.
She was minus 17 on the floor. She had 0 assists and 11 points. 0 assists. 0 assists. That's mental. That's mental for a player that they were trying to say was better than Caitlin Clark. And I'm not even going to say, oh yeah, the points are everything. Points aren't everything at the end of the day. Assists aren't everything. Like, all of these individual stats aren't everything. It was just the fact that she literally, how many blitzes did the Indiana, or how many open shots did the Indiana Fever get off a Caitlin Clark blitz? And albeit it's very different when you have a short roller in.
The Storm didn't just beat Paige Bueckers. They showed the entire league a game plan. Brittany Sykes was the lead defender, with help from Skylar Diggins, Gabby Williams, and Erica Wheeler. They made Bueckers fight for everything. It's going to take not only the primary defender, but also our second and third lines of defense, Coach Noel Quinn explained. They guarded her like a superstar, and she couldn't respond. Clark has dealt with that kind of attention since her very first game. Hard fouls, double teams, constant physical play, and she's still rewriting records. Bueckers fans may point to her past injuries as an excuse, but Clark never had the luxury of excuses. She got the hardest matchups from day one and still looked like a Hall of Famer. Bueckers, by contrast, had a smooth rookie season until Seattle flipped the switch. And she cracked.
And when you guard a player like Paige, it's not just relying on, your guards, whoever has the main matchup, but it becomes a team picture and understanding, rotations on the ball, off the ball. And I think the other thing that we did, early on, we rebounded decently out of it. We didn't give up too many. I think it was 12 second chance points at the half, but not a lot of deflating possessions after having a lot of deflections and things.
The most telling part of all this? Even with all the hype, the Dallas Wings are 9-28, already out of playoff contention, and it feels like they wasted their number 1 pick. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark took Indiana from being one of the league's worst to becoming must-see basketball. She filled arenas, broke viewership records, and made the WNBA a national conversation. Bueckers hasn't even been able to win games in a season where defenses gave her space. What happens when every team starts guarding her like Clark? If Seattle was a preview, it won't end well.
This year, not enough, but if her name was Caitlin Clark, I bet she would have had at least 9 to 10 assists. You hear me? Because she's more than just a scorer. You hear me? Unlike Paige Bueckers, she's only a scorer. She's not dynamic. She's boring. You hear me? Clearly she fits the narrative, but she can't handle being double team or triple team. She was out there.
What's frustrating is how the media kept trying to force a rivalry. They wanted us to believe Paige Bueckers wasn't just close to Caitlin Clark, but better. They pointed to stats without giving context. They highlighted percentages but ignored the level of defense each player faced. ESPN ranked Bueckers 13th midseason, but Clark was already higher despite constant pressure. The storyline was simple. Bueckers was more complete, more polished, more ready. But one game of real defense showed the truth. The hype collapsed on live TV. The bottom line? There is no next Caitlin Clark. Clark is a once-in-a-generation star. She's the Tiger Woods of women's basketball, the player who changed everything.
Did you just say Paige Bueckers will save the WNBA season? This season? The same Paige Bueckers that's dating Elmer Fudd? The same Paige that plays in front of empty civic centers for the Dallas Wankers? You expect me to believe she is going to save the WNBA season? She can't even sell out home games. Matter of fact, she doesn't come anywhere close to selling out games. The Wankers rank near the bottom of the league.
Paige Bueckers isn't the next Caitlin Clark. She's just another talented player caught up in a media-driven story. When she finally faced the same challenges Clark faces every game, she couldn't keep up. The WNBA can keep trying to promote the next big thing, but August 22nd, 2025 will be remembered as the night the story ended. Paige Bueckers got her wake-up call in Seattle. And Caitlin Clark? She's still the standard. She's the player lifting the entire sport. Everyone else is just chasing her. And after what we saw, some aren't even close.